Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harping on Rugby preview show on our YouTube channel. Please be sure to hit that like and or subscribe button if you can. Joining me to look ahead to Leinster's Champions Cup opener is someone back for his 65th Harping cap. Welcome to Mr. Mark Jackson.
How are you, Jeff? Thanks for having me back.
No problem. Good to have you. Okay, well, let's get straight on with our feature match of the week, which is, of course, Leinster v Harlequins in round one of the 25-26 Investec Champions Cup. It's taking place at the Aviva Stadium on Saturday, December 6th, kicking off at 5:30 p.m. with TV coverage on Premier Sports 1. Now, Leinster named their matchday squad earlier than usual on Thursday afternoon. If you're watching on YouTube, it should be right there on the screen, or for pod listeners, it'll be in the program notes. Mark has picked out some points from that starting lineup, starting with the front row.
Yeah, we may as well start up front there. That's an exciting 23 in general, but I'm really excited to see that front row because I have a feeling that's going to be a front row we see a lot of both in blue and green for the foreseeable future and in a few years' time, to be honest with you. I think Paddy McCarthy has probably been the standout performer for Ireland, or at least the most exciting performer we've had in a very up and down autumn series. And I think Thomas Clarkson, after a very, very exciting year going on the Lions tour, I think he's got some real potential. And along with who I think is the best hooker in the world in Dan Sheehan, I think those three gentlemen can provide Leinster with some solid set piece ball. I don't really want too much else other than solid set piece, especially come scrum time. I'm sick of seeing the amount of penalties we've given away. Um, Both at set piece and in general in discipline. And I know Paddy McCarthy, like his brother a year or so ago, has a bit of a reputation of giving away the odd silly penalty. Hopefully he can iron that out. But I think the physicality those three guys can bring is certainly a way forward for Leinster.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting lineup all around in the pack. And of course, we had not some great news on the injury front recently. We hear Ryan Bair's going to be out for a while, and we're going to be missing a few names like that, James Lowe as well. But some names do come back. I mean, it's great to see Joe McCarthy, of course, Kyle Doris as well. Had to see him wearing blue and able to the captain's armband. So with Baird out, that means we don't have to do that crazy thing of leaving Jack Conan on the bench. He comes in and plays six. So there's a lot of excitement. R.H. Snyman as well getting a start. With James Ryan obviously out this week, but Jeremy Magan has been doing well as well. He's on the bench, and there's some interesting names there on the bench as well. Max Deegan comes up. Alex Soroka might have considered himself a bit unlucky as well, the way he's been playing this season, but I suppose a call had to be made there.
I think if we look at the general makeup of this pack, starting and the guys to come on, I've very rarely seen a Leinster pack with the general size we've seen here, with the sort of starting forwards and the guys to come on. There's a good serious amount of weight in the back five of the pack. R.G. Snyman is a world class operator. Personally, I think he does his best work coming off the bench. But listen, from the off, I'd like to see him control his offloads maybe at the start of the game. Just get a bit more grunt into his game at the start, which we might be missing with both Beard and Ryan out for the time being. I think Jack Conan and Caelan Doris back hopefully will provide serious go forward, and I just think it's an exciting pack of forwards. I think Quins are a team that can be got at up front. They haven't had a great season so far, but I think their forwards are probably the stronger part of their team. But I think we can definitely have a go at them there.
Absolutely. And of course, your second point, you're just moving on to the backs as well. You want to have a look at our back three.
I think our back three is exciting. I really want to see them just go hell for leather. Listen, it's been a while since we've had two wingers with out and out gas in Jordan Larmour and Tommy O'Brien. And I think the 10-12 combination with Sam Prendergast and Kieran Frawley hopefully will get the ball out to them. They're two playmakers in midfield. There's a lot of pace out wide with Jimmy O'Brien as well. It's an exciting back three. Quins will have a lot of pace out wide themselves, but I think for the first time in a while, I'm really excited with this back three. And I think if they put their foot down, I think we can see some tries scored on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kicking game will be very interesting because you've got a lot of proponents of it there. I mean, going all the way back to Jimmy O'Brien as well. I mean, he can do it at the odd kick pass himself, and yeah, and it was it. We were trying to debate when we figured if James Lowe was going to be out, we were wondering who'd be filling that number 11 jersey and how they'd structure it. They thought they might put Jimmy O'Brien's left boot there, but because they play Jimmy O'Brien at 15 and Frawley at 12 at the Dragons, they probably keep that, and they have done. So it's that's exciting there, and Larmer just slots into their 11, so it's a great mix overall. And of course, on the bench, we've got Rico Owani, the number 23, coming in there. Where do you think he'll slot in?
Listen, he can cover anywhere from 13 outwards. So let's see what happens. I think he might actually end up on the wing for Leinster at the start of things as he eases himself into it. But he's certainly not being he's not being eased into anything Heineken Cup or European Cup game straight off the bat. And listen, let's see what he can bring to the 23.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, let's not forget Harry Byrne on the bench there as well. He's having a great season, and I'm sure he'll play a part at some stage as well. He can cover other positions as well. I mean, he can play 12 if required as well. So there's a good lot of versatility on that bench there for Leinster for sure. Okay, so now it's time to have a quick look at our visitors, Harlequins. Of course, we played them earlier in 2025 at Croke Park, though their fans will probably forgive me if I don't repeat the scoreline. They went on to qualify for the Champions Cup by finishing 7th in the 10-team Premiership, and so far this season, they've won 2 out of their 6 matches and currently sit 8th, which, by the way, would also be good enough to qualify for the Champions Cup somehow. Now, as we're recording on Thursday evening, Quins have yet to name their team. I'll update the program notes once they do, but you watch a good bit of Premiership rugby, Mark. What do you make of them this season?
They're very inconsistent. They have been for the last couple of years. Defensively, they're not that strong. They've got a couple of big names in their team. Baxter in the front row has come on a lot in the last year or so for England in the front row. Uh, and Marcus Smith obviously in the backs as well, going on the Leinster. They'll be the two main guys, and Chandler Cunningham Smith as well will be a big ball carrier for them. Obviously, Kieran Treadwell, we'll know from our time with Ulster, he slopped back and he's originally a Harlequins lad himself. So listen, they have a few good players, but they're just very inconsistent. They haven't won in a month. They played very poorly against actually the second team or a team below them at the weekend at Gloucester. Ross Byrne actually threw a few nice passes at the weekend. What I saw of them, they haven't won apart from they beat Saracens in a tight enough encounter earlier on in the season. That was an okay performance actually, but it wasn't the strongest Saracens lineup. And they shipped nearly 40 points with no reply against Exeter. Exeter were on fire that day and literally put Quins to the sword. They've got 2 or 3 guys they really rely on. And if they're not firing, Quins will be there for the taking. To be honest with you, they're a Jekyll and Hyde team. They can actually pull the result out of nowhere, which they did in Bordeaux a couple of years ago. You know, some of these guys have got some serious gas. Caden Murray on the wing. You know, they're a really good team if you allow them to play, but I think Leinster will have too much of a pressure game and too much physicality for them to last the 80 minutes.
Yeah, myself and David Cordial did a video there earlier in the week. You'll see it back in the YouTube feed there, where we looked at the different contenders. And you know, English rugby is definitely on the up at the moment. The test team is having a good run of results, and we found some. There are some contenders out of the Premiership for sure. Bath, Saracens, and even Northampton. We know all about them from last season, but I wouldn't say Harlequins would be in that pack as well. I mean, if you're 7th in the Premiership and 8th, and
the three teams you mentioned there, I definitely would keep an eye on. Listen, Bath and Saris had a ding dong of a game at the weekend just gone. I'd actually recommend highly if anybody can get a hold of the highlights of that game. Some really good stuff. I think Max Sojourner for Bath especially has come on leaps and bounds in the last sort of 6 to 8 months. The Premiership is a very odd, the Prem as it's been rebranded this year is a very odd league. The top is good, the middle is middling, to be honest with you, and the bottom is also very, very, very poor. Newcastle are struggling at the moment. Their new rebranding and everything else that's going on there. Gloucester have not put together any great stuff recently. and Quins would be near the bottom at the moment. And as you said, there's some sort of imbalance there where 8 teams are currently, or 7 teams are going to get into the Champions Cup with the vision there that low. It's not really good for some of the results for other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now just going to have a quick look at the officials. It's Craig Evans holding the whistle with an all Welsh officiating team there. The weather for Dublin 4 on Saturday evening is supposed to be cloudy, quite windy, and just a 25% chance of rain. So not the worst conditions, depending on how the wind holds up. So which brings us on to having a look at the other matches on this weekend. Full Champions Cup program and Challenge Cup. What game stands out for you, Mark?
I think Bath and Munster for me. I think Munster have had a relatively good start to the season, obviously putting Leinster to the sword. And apart from last week's performance against the Stormers, where they kind of choked a little bit, and Limerick they had the game won there and just took their foot off the pedal for some reason. No disrespect to the Stormers. The Stormers are a good team, are obviously top of the league for a reason. But I think Munster could be in a bit of an issue this weekend with the injuries that they have. I think Bath are playing quite well, and I certainly have a team worthy of being the English champions and being worth a watch to as well.
Absolutely, they'll be looking like we were just talking. Like they are one of the top teams in the Prem, and but they'll be looking to make a statement with that game in particular this weekend to start the competition. And of course, elsewhere on the weekend we got Ulster kicking off their Challenge Cup campaign on Friday evening against Racing, and on Sunday Connacht play at Ospreys, and then in Leinster's pool you got Bayonne hosting the Stormers, and then also you've got. The other game is La Rochelle against Leicester Tigers in Leinster's pool there. But full program of games, a lot of interesting matches there for sure. But now we must go back to our feature match. It's head on the block time, Mark. How do you see it going at the Aviva on Saturday?
I don't think it will be as one-sided, lopsided as it has been in the past, but I still expect us by about 25 to 30 points. Yeah, if we click, I think there's a couple of things we need to sort out. Discipline being the main one. I think how we play between the two 10 meters will decide how this game is won and lost as well. I think we need to expand more energy in 22s and just kick a bit better between the two 10-meter lines at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen in the last few years is that we have definitely noticed a raise in standard from Leinster. Like they do, they put out a better team, they put out the best team, whoever the opposition is. When it gets to the very first round of the Champions Cup, they know that they've got to get the highest seeding they can, for home advantage in the playoffs, all that stuff. So they do go for it. Unfortunately, the level that we're coming from hasn't been that great over the first few rounds of the URC, but still, it's a good team. We've got good players coming back into the team, and the challenge is there for them. So hopefully they'll be able to meet it. Okay, listen, we're going to leave it there, man. Thanks for joining us, Mark.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure as always.
No problem. And thanks to you all for checking out our latest preview show. Be sure to enjoy the match wherever you are, and look out for that Rap Pod recording on Sunday evening. Hopefully you'll help us out by liking, sharing, and subscribing. In the meantime, stay safe, everyone. Slán.